Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome, everybody, to the Hockey Think Tank podcast, brought to you by the Hockey Think Tank community, a place for all passionate players, parents, and coaches to go to get a little bit of education and a little bit of inspiration regarding the greatest game on the planet. What an episode we have for you guys here today. He's back for round 2 with myself and the talented co-host of mine, Jeffrey J. Lavecchio. We're bringing on player development coach Jon Lounsbury, and we talk a lot about hockey, man. We talk a lot of hockey on this one. It's going to be really informative for everybody. And before we do get over to Lounsy, though, let's bring on the talent of the podcast. As I mentioned, Jeffrey J. Lavecchio with his dad gang hat on. Fex, what's shaking, man?
Just having a great week. I can't lie. I got to work with Kyron Williams the past 2 days, my buddy who's running back in the NFL. And
not just running back in the NFL, like an all-pro, one of the best running backs in the NFL for the Rams kind of thing.
Yes, savage. This year he's only home for this week, so I'm just working with him for the week. But, dude, all I could think about yesterday when he came in and then after the session is just how crazy it is that one person in a room can change how that room is operating. And we've talked about on this podcast so much about energy vampires, and 1 turns into 2 into 4, and how one guy can just completely annihilate the culture of a team. Conversely, the opposite, 1 or 2 guys, domino effect, positivity, pushing each other, just it's crazy. And this is why so many people spend so much time in high level teams and businesses and things like that on culture. And, it's not the dog days of summer right now, but we're kind of like in that period where it's like, okay, we've been training for a month or 2 months and we still got a month or 2 months to go to the season. And so you're kind of in the middle there, a little bit of a lull, and to have him come in this week and just explode the room with energy and pushing everybody and just crazy how cool it was. So it just got me really thinking about all the things that we talk about regarding culture.
So cool, man. So cool. I mean, guys like that who reach the heights that they do, it's not an accident.
Especially his size. He's not a huge guy, and to be as good as he is and as effective as he is, you look at his pro numbers too. Like you look at his combine and stuff. Like those numbers actually, I think, like hurt him a little bit because straight line speed, he's not like the fastest guy alive. So like he made it strictly because of what he brings to work every single day in his mindset. And I like to think that we have a pretty damn good culture in my gyms. And then to see it just get to another level with a guy like that coming in who's excited to be in there, it's been a cool week.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And it actually, like, it's funny that you mentioned that because we're finishing up, and I guess I'll tease it right now, but we're finishing up a leadership and life skills program for kids. So it's, 10 different kind of modules on different leadership and life skills things. And we're just finishing. So that's probably going to get launched in the next couple of weeks here. But you talk about like leadership and culture and all that. Like you talk to coaches at like the higher levels, they're salivating for players like that.
Yes.
Absolutely salivating for players that can walk into the locker room and elevate your culture, be a leader, potentially be a captain one day, bring positive energy, because, and I've said this a lot, like so much of what esports has become is such individualized and me, and how can you help me make it? And the logo on the front of the jersey and those leadership type intangibles are kind of not maybe as taught as much anymore. And so like, it just, man, you guys know our mission with the Hockey Think Tank and what we do with the podcast. It's not just developing better players, but, educating on being better people at first and foremost. And to hear a story of someone like Kyron and the, the trajectory that he's had and the type of person that he is, and having the ability to change a room just by his presence and his work ethic and stuff. It's so cool. We need more of that. and coaches at the higher levels are salivating for that. And that's something that we've identified as something that we want to continue to broach and continue to educate kids on. And so, yeah, in the next couple of weeks, we're launching this leadership and life skills program for kids that's virtual online. It doesn't take long because, our attention spans aren't the greatest in the world. But man, there's such a vacuum, and it's that's really cool to hear that about them.
Yeah, absolutely love that you're rolling that out, and it's something that can be practiced. It's something that can be harnessed. It's something that can be worked on every single day. And I know that literally from experience doing it for over a decade in my gyms, like literally every single day. That's what I'm trying to get these guys to get their head around, and pushing each other and pulling each other and, pulling the rope and showing up the way that what was that old saying? Dress for the job that you want to have or whatever, like that type of mindset. Like, oh, I want to, you said it, I don't want to butcher it. Your something like your output has to match the height of your
magnitude
dreams.
of your work ethic has to match or exceed the magnitude of your dreams.
Thank you. That. And it's like, and it's not just work ethic. It's like how you're treating other people. Like, you want to get to those levels. Well, how do those people treat people? Right? How do they show up for others? How do they take care of themselves? How do they take care of their family? How do they do all of these different things? And that's got to match the magnitude of your dreams.
100%.
That's awesome.
And those are all choices. Those are all
Yes.
choices. Like, you think about like the leadership skills or the life skills, things like that. Like, if you want to be more resilient, you got to choose to be a little bit more resilient every day. Choose the path to resilience. You want to be a better communicator, choose to be a better communicator every single day. You want to be more accountable, you got to choose to be a little bit more accountable every single day. You want to be more consistent, you got to choose consistency, every single day. And everything's a habit, man. Everything's a habit. The way you do anything is the way you're going to end up doing everything. And so and you know what the really cool thing is, and this is something that we've leaned into a lot with the Hockey Think Tank and our work with the youth organizations, is mentorship. And when you can have, even for a day, dude, like even for a day, imagine the impact that Kyron had on your guys that were in the gym with him for the rest of the summer.
Yeah.
What a mentor. Like, and again, you want to choose a mentor, choose to follow the right people on social media, choose to surround yourself with good people. And it goes such a long way, man. Such a long way. Really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. No, who else is cool?
What's that?
You know who else is cool?
Jon Lounsbury.
Jon Lounsbury.
Yeah. So I know you guys had a conversation, and then we got Lounsy on. So
dude, he just reached out to me. I mean, we're shooting text back, and God, you want to talk about a guy who loves a good movie quote. Jon Lounsbury, one of the best out there. Not gonna lie, he's right up there in the ranks with us. Especially a Night at the Roxbury quote. Huge Night at the Roxbury guy.
Is he now?
Yes, he is. Yeah, you throw him a muscle triplicator text message, he is gonna love you. All right. But yeah, he just texted me out of the blue. He's like, God, I need to get on the show. We got to talk about some things. And I was like, yes, I love when passionate people who are doing what he's doing and working with the people that he's working with that want to come on the show. So we got him on right away, and always a good time when Lounsy comes on.
For sure. So let's get over to Lounsy. And Lounsy, he does a lot of player development work. He's got some big time NHL clients, works in youth hockey as well. He's also a hockey dad, 2 girls. We talked a little bit about that. I know he's got a couple guys that won the cup there. Like, I know has worked with Marchand in the past, Rodriguez, guys like that. Worked with Adam Oates for a long time, who is widely regarded as one of the top skills coaches in the game, Hall of Fame player as well. And so, yeah, a lot of really good stuff from Lounsy here. So before we do get over to Lounsy, who is the player development specialist who runs 11 Hockey, we do have some people to thank. First and foremost, want to thank icehockeysystems.com, our title sponsor. They have been with us every step of the way, and Ice Hockey Systems is the best website out there, guys, for anything you need coaching education wise. They got thousands of drills on their site, whiteboard explanations on systems and concepts and habits from really, really high level hockey people. And the kicker is the ability to go in there and draw up your drills and create a library for yourself, or or for your entire organization. And we have partnered with them on an associations platform. So much good information in there. And you can actually get this for every single one of your coaches in your entire association. So go to icehockeysystems.com today and check out that associations platform. It will be worth it. I promise you, Jeffrey Levecchio, it is your turn. Go.
I want to say thank you to Train Heroic. You guys know Train Heroic's the amazing app that allows me to work with so many players around the world, teams, organizations. Doesn't matter the age. I've got NCAA D1 teams I work with using Train Heroic, D3, USHL, NAHL, NA3, midget, down to kids. Just signed up a team that's a group of 12-year-olds that are doing at-home workouts for the off-season. Okay, I can facilitate quality training with Zoom calls with me every single month to help your team and organization or coaches with performance enhancement, mindset, nutrition, all these different things. Train Heroic makes all that possible. So just a massive shout out. Thank you to Train Heroic.
Boom. Also want to thank Helios Hockey, one of the best products out there in the market for your player development. What is it? It is a sensor that you put into your shoulder pads that gives you real-time data, real-time feedback on your play. We're talking about specifically stride length, stride mechanics make you a better skater. You cannot play high-level hockey without being a great skater in today's day and age, and also what the kids love, and that's a hustle score. So like I said, anytime you move, that sensor lights up and it gives you a hustle score. It's really, really cool. The kids absolutely love it. They have just partnered with and signed on Matthew Nyes, stud hockey player with the Toronto Maple Leafs, to be an ambassador, and just to see their rise in what they're doing in the hockey world right now. It's extremely, extremely cool. And so check it out. Go to helioshockey.com today. And with our partnership with them, if you use the coupon code ThinkTank, one word, you will get 20% off your pro annual or pro 24-month subscription. And I didn't even mention the best part. The best part about it is this sensor, it links up with whatever video that you have, and it could be live barn, it could be a phone, it could be a video camera, and it will give you real-time data feedback right away, and it will cut up your shifts for you directly after the game. Insane. Absolutely insane. What a great development tool. So again, go to helioshockey.com today and check that out. We also want to thank Crossbar. Crossbar is an end-to-end software solution that can help you to run the operations so much more efficiently for your youth hockey organization. I know a ton of youth hockey directors and presidents that have made the switch from some of the bigger boxy type stuff over to Crossbar, and they have been extremely, extremely happy that they did. So what does Crossbar do? It gives you a really, really sleek and easy to use website design, registration for everything from your big season type stuff to your little things like drop-ins and clinics and lessons. It's got a really easy to use club scheduler and 5-star communication app to communicate with your families, financial tools and reporting, volunteer and facility management. Like, this is just a really one-stop shop to help you operate your organization more efficiently, give you time back in your day, especially for all of you volunteers out there that see there's not enough hours in the day for us, is there? So go to crossbar.org today and check that out. And lastly, thank you to all of our amazing listeners. We absolutely love you guys and continue to grind this baby out every week. And the only thing that we ask for in return, if you can, would be to interact with our podcast in any way possible by going to your podcast app. We're on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. We're everywhere, and shoot us a rating, shoot us a review, subscribe to our channel, download, comment, like, whatever you want to do. But that just goes a long way with helping us to spread the message to make the hockey world a little bit better. And hopefully we're able to do that. So if you think we're doing that, if you could do that for us, that would be awesome. So we think you're going to love this episode, guys. Lounsy back for round 2. So without further ado, here's the owner of 11 Hockey, Jon Lounsbury. We are so excited to have back on the podcast. It's been a minute, but our guy Jon Lounsbury. Lounsy, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you? It's good to see you guys.
It is a good day. You know, it's a good day and it's also a sad day. The day that we're recording this, it's the day after the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup. And so there's no hockey for a long time now, which is kind of depressing. However, what a series, what a playoffs. Lounsy, give us your little hot take here. I know you work with a couple guys on Florida. They won the cup last night. Just hot take on the Stanley Cup Finals.
It was an unbelievable series, you know, and I think Obviously, the travel and I think you get worn down over time. And I don't think one series was significantly harder than the next. I do think the West was a little better as a whole, and people might hate me for saying that. So I think the road there was a touch more difficult for Edmonton just based on matchups. But I do think Florida made it look easy. So I think they were on such a roll going through these playoffs that it's like, was Carolina just off, or was Florida just that good? And it was just awesome hockey to watch, and just to watch a team. I know you and I had talked a little bit about it, just the depth in general. Like, doesn't matter who gets on the ice for Florida, they're coming. And it's just such a fun way to watch, and just the depth overcame all, and it was just really cool to watch it all, and in some facet be a part of it in the background.
No question. No question. I think there's a few really important ingredients you need to have to win championships. I think number one is depth, 100%. Like, they could roll all four, and they played 3 of their 4 lines against McDavid and Draisaitl and 2 of their D pair. I mean, when you don't have to worry about that matchup so much, like so many other teams had to, like making sure this line is on the ice when McDavid's out there, making sure that it takes so much pressure off the coaching staff and their depth both up front and in back. And then you get Bobrovsky. I mean, geez, you needed number 1 goalie. Edmonton saw that pretty. But the other thing too, your best players have to be dogs. Like, if your best players are prima donnas and don't work and don't do the little things, you're not going to win. And like you look at like Barkov, you look at Kachuk, you look at Bennett, you look at Marchand, you look at Seth Jones, you look at Ekblad, you look at Forsling. All these guys are elite offensive talents, but they're freaking dogs, man. And when your top guys are leading the way, playing that 2-way hockey and competing so hard, it's a recipe for success at the end of the day. And so, like, Florida, I think you're right. Like, they made teams look bad. And I know a lot of people, including myself, picked Tampa Bay to beat Florida in the first round because Tampa was a wagon too. And it was like, and then they go down to 2-0 to Toronto. And then it's like, they figured like and then just Carolina, Edmonton, like, it's so much fun to watch.
Just a lot of.
I know, just a lot of. I had a text from a client during the trade deadline, and when they acquired all the stuff, and it was literally we're winning it. That was it, and that was March or whatever it was, and it was just like, you have to like process it and all that stuff, and like, well, Seth Jones is good, but he was always on a bad team, and then you look at like, obviously Marshy's just. Is going to go down as one of the greats of our generation, and just talk about a dog and a bone. And now, I think where Edmonton really advanced was the coach did an excellent job, especially changing the LA series, of being able to get changes on LA. Like he had McDavid out there in times where like he was out against their 3rd, 4th line. So I think their coach did a fantastic job to change that series, and then they got confidence from there and built it. And then obviously it's hard to go through Vegas and Dallas, but just like when you go out, it does it. I feel like when you're Paul Maurice, and I'm just putting words in somebody's mouth, it's just like, all right, next line's up. Obviously you have to be a little cautious with your 4th line, but like, I don't think at certain points at certain games, it wasn't crucial that, oh no, Connor's out there against the 3rd, right? And he's the best player in the world. I can't argue that. But they found a way to slow him down.
And you think about depth too. Like, remember at the beginning of the playoffs, it was a completely different 4th line for Florida. I think all 3 guys like were out, and then the next 3 guys were up. So it's not even like depth as far as like your better players, but just like even depth within their entire system. Like Bill Zito, the GM, like, come on. Like the trades that he's made, and I saw a tweet here today, something about like all the trades that he made to bring in like Kachuk and Bennett and Jones and Marchand. I think there are a few other guys, and they're like, oh yeah, but it's state tax, right? It's state tax why they won. But look at all these like amazing moves that they did. Well, two things could be true at the same time, but either way, it just depth wins at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Well, I mean, hats off to him for playing to the advantage of the state tax, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, like, who doesn't want to go play with a centerpiece like Barkov and a guy like Kachuk? So they look at those pieces and they're like, I'd love to be there. And it's about, at some point, it's about winning, right? And then, is Cleveland still there? Or Charlotte still their American League team?
I don't even know.
I don't know. Because
yes, Charlotte's still there, American. Yes, as far as I know, yes.
Are they not in the finals, right? I could be wrong. Are they in the finals against Abbotsford? So it's like, here's just organizational depth and what they're trying to do. It's like people want to be a part of that. Yeah,
100%, man. It's really, really cool. I got to give a little shout out to a guy that I coached at Cornell, Braden Birch. He's in the front office there, and saw him got a picture raising the cup and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's cool, man. Everybody, it's funny, Lounsy. I'm sure you get a lot of these questions too. And Vex, like, who are you rooting for? Like, which team do you want to win? I'm like, I don't really care. Like, I know guys on both teams. I just want them to win. It's like you're rooting for people, not teams anymore.
What's the old thing? As long as they all have fun.
What's that?
As long as they all have fun. That's what I say.
Yeah. Everybody gets a participation trophy at the end, right?
Oh gosh. Yeah. But
all right. I gotta ask, So Lounsy, you guys listeners, been longtime listeners, know Lounsy been on the podcast multiple times before. He texted me out of the blue, out of nowhere, and was like, "Get me on the podcast." And I was like, "Oh, fired up!" So I want to know, like, where did that come from? What did you see? And if you guys don't follow Lounsy on Twitter, I'd say once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, he drops just like a Confucius level philosophy, hockey, 10,000 foot view on us. And I absolutely love it. And I go nuts. So when he said, I need to get on the podcast, I was like, oh, what does this guy want to talk about? So what's going on in that big, beautiful brain of yours that you wanted to come on the greatest hockey podcast ever created?
Ever created, for one. Two, wanted to come back and see your faces. Three, you know what? I listen to everything you guys do, and I've been a fan for a long time, but we just the constant talks of, and you've had some unbelievable guests on lately too, like Jamie Rice recently, and just like one of the all times right there. But it's just how this entire landscape of hockey is going, how it's trending, what we're going after. And, it's people point fingers at the kids, it's the parents, it's all that. And you really got to like think through all this stuff. And there's been so much good content coming from this podcast that like my kids are in it, right? So I see it all the time. And it's like you realize when you're vocal at something, you kind of get pushed off to the side. Right. I say that in a bad way, but I'm opinionated, and that's okay. I stand by it, but it's like, well, we don't want John's kid here. What if he has a bad experience, or what if we, so it's like you go through all the ebbs and flows. And I was talking to Toph, and I just think like, especially talking on the word development, like every team, every player, like I think I'm a little tired, and this is going to get people mad at me, and I'm okay with it. I'm just tired of the year-end meetings going, good job, Vex. Like, you just need to get faster and stronger this summer, and we'll see you in the fall. And it's like, it's the same exit meeting everywhere, every time. And it's like, where's the substance behind it? And then it's like, guys go into a summer not knowing what to expect. And it's like, and there's a level of frustration watching it all go down, and it's a frustration. I worry about my own path and what I do, but just like seeing kids kind of lost at times and not knowing what direction to take, and parents just kind of being all over the place and not knowing, thinking they have to do all of it when, there's some merit. There's some merit to this. And the biggest thing I would say, and let you guys talk for a second, the biggest thing I would say is that my oldest daughter, Olivia, has never come up to me and said, Dad, I want to do these 7 showcases. Right? So it really, for me, and she's getting older, she's U14 next year. So it's like, okay. So when people go and crazy with all these showcases, like, are these parents even asking their kids what they want to do?
Yeah.
Do you want to go to Edmonton and play? I asked my daughter straight up, do you want to go to Edmonton and play in the Roses, which is the girls' brick or whatever it is? Or do you want to go to Edmonton and see Connor play? I want to go see Connor play. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, you just kind of, we're forcing our kids to do stuff that they might not have to do. But I think you support your child if they come to you and say, Dad, I want to play 3 terms this summer. Done. no questions asked, I'll put you in it. But it's like we got to give the game back to the kids. So like that's kind of where my head's at. All the development side of it, where youth hockey's going, and it's just like, and you see it in professional development. All the professionals I train, it's like, how'd your exit meeting go? It's the first thing I ask. That's fine. Told me to get faster this summer.
Well, that's something that has always driven me nuts about coaches and management in pro, in college, in junior. Just the lack of at those higher levels, the lack of like, this is what you need to work on, like pinpointing it specifically, like this is what you need to work on, like even down to the daily, like my first year in juniors, like, oh, you're a healthy scratch. But like, I didn't know until I got to the game that I was going to be a healthy scratch. And then it was like, well, get a workout in. It wasn't like, well, you're scratched because of this reason, let's work on this, or you go out early and work on this on your own. Like, give me something. Like why not tell me? And this is 20 freaking years ago. And I still got guys that are in the same boat every year, every single year, almost every single junior college player that gets scratched is just like, I got scratched all the time this year. And there was no like, okay, like you need to work on these 5 things relentlessly to get back in the lineup. And the same thing in pro, you get sent down the American League. Hey, we really need you to work on this, and this. So I want you to study this guy's game because we want you your own version of playing like this guy because he does these things well, which we think you can do well, and this and that. And it's like, I just don't understand why the message isn't more clear. And it's like,
well,
hey,
I think part of it, Vex, is like, things are changing now. I think it's better now than it was when we were playing.
Yeah.
It's still not where it needs to be, but the conventional wisdom when we were in it, and still even to this day a little bit, was you're pro. And people treat kids like pros at juniors and in college. So it's like, if you're not going to do it, I'm not going to hold your hand. Like people, I feel like the old school think of that as like hand holding, like giving somebody a plan and like investing and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, you're either going to do it or you're not. And if you don't, then we're going to find somebody who will. Where like the best coaches, they don't view that as hand holding. They view that as investing into that player's development, investing into that player's future, which that return is going to be a lot better. So like the wisdom, I think, has changed a little bit from just be a pro or find somebody else who's going to do it to there's a little bit more of that now. What you guys are talking about, what we need a lot more of, and that's the plan. It's the honest reflection. It's the giving them the roadmap type thing. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, yeah. I've seen that shift a little bit.
Definitely better for sure. But I mean, Lounsbury, I'm sure, can speak to it way more. I mean, we're at the highest levels, obviously.
Yeah, but I think the same thing. It's like when you look at, we really want you to develop this year. Okay, what does that mean? And I'll use Montreal for example. It's that their guys developed a ton throughout the season, and I think a lot of it has to do with the way Marty let them go. Right. And I think Lane Hudson is a fantastic hockey player. He deserves the Calder Cup. The Rookie of the Year, the Calder Cup, AHL championship. Great.
It's the Calder Trophy.
He deserves the Rookie of the Year. But if he plays for a different coach, does he get the same accolades? Right. And I say that because like there were games that I would watch and he's -3, and I'm not knocking. Please don't take it wrong. I'm not knocking. He's -3 because they weren't playing well as a team, and he's back out there the next shift. Like what? Like that's that's what you want. Like that's your head coach looking at you, man. Like, hey, let's just get back on the horse, right? Where other guys, and I know coaches fight for their jobs at time, but at the junior level, like put the kid back out there. Don't bench him and scratch him the next day. Like, what are you going to learn from that? Now he's in his head for a week. And now it's kind of going downhill from there. And I think Marty was in a position, and I don't know this, to position to like let his guys go and give him a little bit more rope. And it played off for him. The place was rocking during playoffs, like unbelievable. But it's just like, how can we not take a page out of the book and stop, being hyper focused on the mistakes, but like being focused on fixing them? And it's just like I think there's times where there's some coaches that are a little archaic and all this, and there's times that are coaches that are trying to be more communicative with the players and all that stuff. But like, we're all going to make mistakes. It's part of it. It's how you get down that guy's throat or girl, like just get after him. Like that's what's the difference maker is, you know? And
I was talking about kind of this line of thinking, I think, because where I think that this goes to is like the art of coaching, like X's and O's, or in my field in the gym, like, you know, things that are more like scientific based and numbers and all these things. Like, yeah, those things matter. But then it comes down to the art of coaching. Like, do you understand psychology? Do you know your players well enough? Have you invested time into them to know how they respond well? And it's not talking about being soft. It's not talking about going the other way and being militaristic. It's like kind of finding what works for every player within the framework of the team system and things like that, the messaging to the whole team. And that's where I think like it's super, super important. I don't know. I think one of the only ways to like get better at this, because I was talking with my intern yesterday, who's one of my college players, just like the only way to get that is reps as a coach, like more and more reps. I think it's the only way. We want to produce more coaches that are able to pull these things out of players and help them find their game and all things like that. Is you just got to take more reps as a coach and fail forward and learn and do it a better way and things like that. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under-eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
Every year's a new year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So why not give yourself the opportunity of like, all right, that didn't work this year. Guys didn't respond well. And then it's kind of like, but I think there's a lot of ego in coaching. Right. And it's not a negative comment. I just think that there are a lot of guys that are too proud to ask for help, you know, and just like, I'm not saying it's me, it's you, it's Topher, it's any of that stuff. But it's like, if you don't know something in the gym, you want to find out the answer to it. Right. Right. I try to do the same when I skate with someone. If they ask me something and legitimately stumps me, I'm just like, ooh, I'll get back to you. And I'll like, we'll put some video together and I'll send it and I'll talk to him about it. Like, this is why I thought, you know what I mean? Just kind of like go through it that way. But I'm not going to give you an answer because I think I have to, you know, it's like, but I have to go to someone else to get the answer or like talk about it or talk through it with someone else and just figure it out that way. But I think we don't want to let our guard down as humans, and so it's like ego driven and you're like give an answer or you'd be like, it's because I said so.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, like, and then it's like, all right, so that's where do we kind of go from here? You know? And I think there's and why like you use the word, and just to go back on that, like development, it's like every coach is like, well, you want Topher, I want you to come play for me because you're gonna develop as a player, and then you get benched because you can't get the puck off the wall. Topher, you gotta get the puck out. No, I know. Okay, you got it, coach. And like your next shift, you get stuck on the wall again. It's like, Topher, like it's one more chance and you're not playing, and then again, and now you're sitting there. It's like, well, why can't you teach him how to get the puck off the wall?
Yeah.
So instead of going to practice the next day and spending the week on it, because Topher needs 10 minutes a day, you're scratched. So where's the development?
Yeah.
Well, there's a big difference, right? And I think that's where it's changed a little bit, where I do think we have more teachers in the game now than we used to. Probably still not where we need to be, but there's the get the puck out the wall and you're going to sit, and then you're on the fourth line in practice on Monday. Or it's you get the puck along the wall. You don't get the puck out along the wall and you sit, and then you do a video session, and then it's right back after it. Like there's a very big difference between the two of them. And I think, as you were talking, Lounsbury, and even you two, Vex, one of the things that really popped into my head was like, what type of environment are you creating where the development can come out? And so many environments that are not good, it's all based on fear. It's all based on fear. And even when you think about like coaches, particularly at the NHL level, a lot of them are operating out of fear, because let's call a spade here. The average lifespan of an NHL coach is what, 2 years, 3 years, I think, tops, maybe. So yeah, like they're coaching for their jobs, and they're probably they're coaching out of fear themselves, because that's the environment that they're in. So then what are they emitting out? It's that same thing. And so like when we create these environments, it's got to be a teaching environment. And like you mentioned with Montreal and Hudson, like it's got to be an environment where it's not based on fear. It's based on growth.
And you have, but all these, and these teams they have so many resources, right? So like you look at, I don't know, I'll just you go to like Toronto's webpage and there's like 40 people in development, right? So it's like all these people that get pinged down the list. Well, like, can't you just, hey, you need to go spend a little bit more time with Toph, right? And I know the season gets hectic and it gets built up and all that stuff. But there's also like, there's a little bit of downtime, and you do that with the colleges. You have your head coach, you got guys on the road recruiting, you have volunteers and all that stuff, but it's, do things that cater to help the player that's struggling the most. And the guys that are strong at it will continue to get better at it. Like there's times like, all right, we're going to work on one-timers today for the D. And I'm like, well, we haven't gotten a shot through in the last 4 games. So let's just how about we work on like finding lanes and getting shots through versus like one-timers, right? So it's like, but is that not a reality? That's kind of like, hey, let's go out. We're going to do some retrievals. Okay, we're going to do some retrievals. Well, instead of like, we haven't broken out the puck on the right side of our ice in 6 games. Let's figure out how we can do that. All the dots connect, and it's just like, how do we, and it's hard because again, it comes down to X's and O's and guys in spots, but in my opinion, it comes down to handling a puck. And you teach guys to do those little things a little bit better, and now your team's moving up the ice a little bit quicker, and it just it all flows together, and it's you can have the strongest guy in the gym, Vex, but if he can't put his hips back well enough to do a certain movement, he can only lift 20 pounds. Yeah. Right? And he's like, well, I'm strong, but everyone else is lifting 70 pounds more than I am. Well, you can't do it. It's okay. We're going to fix it.
Get better at it.
Yeah.
Well, Lounsbury, let me ask you guys, because this is kind of like, overarching what development is in a nutshell. And I'll ask you this because it's very relevant for what you just said. And that's kind of like the technical versus the tactical when it comes to transferring skills over from practice into the game. Yep. And you talk about, they got to have the skill, right? They got to have the skill to be able to execute it, but then they also have to understand what's going on in the game. How do you, because you work on development, you do video, you do a lot of things with high level players and even in the youth as well. Like how do you balance the technical? They have to have the skill. They got to master the skill with how are we going to help this skill transfer into the game? Like, are you doing progressions in practice? Is it a lot of video? Are you starting off with really, like you talk about retrievals, really mundane? Okay, we're going to go back, we're going to shoulder check, we're going to get it, we're going to pass it back to the coach, and we're going to do mindless type stuff like that. And then we progress higher to, okay, now we're going to add some variables like a forechecker, or, you got to do different things. And so can you just talk about your process of the technical skill versus the tactical, and how you get people to transfer what you're trying to get them to do from the practice into the game the best?
Yeah, I think I look at it from, I typically, I had the opportunity to learn from the best in the game, right? So I'm very fortunate to be able to be alongside someone that taught me so much about how to look at it, how to shape younger players, professionals, whatever it is. And I think that's why it's the season, right? And I'll say it from the youth perspective to start, because I coach my girls. Like, I know I have 7 months of time. And I will tell you one thing, that every single year that I've coached, I've had the same group of girls. I'd add a few here and there. And we got a little bit better as we went on. The first year we won 4 games. The next year we won 7. Then 15. Last year we won 25. Same group, playing the same competition, the same thing. So it's like, there's nothing but time in our world. Like, my 12-year-old, my 2012 daughter isn't playing at BU next year. She might not ever play at BU, but my thing is that, can she make the people around her better? Can her teammates do the same thing? So it's functional. Like, can obviously skating and all those skills pick up, but like, how do you handle a puck that you can see where everyone else is? And I think a lot of it is technical. And then you start teaching the game based on ideas and where people should be in spots and how we kind of play around each other. But we really sit down and we focus on, all right, can we move in a way where I can look right or look left, right? Can we come around the net and understand that there's one person chasing me, so that eliminates one, so there's 8 other players somewhere else. Can we find them? And it's just like, it's really just in fostering the environment of, like, make mistakes. We're not in a rush. Every season we get pumped for the first 2 months. Like, and it is what it is, because everyone's into systems and playing this way and playing right away, versus like, all right, we're going to go out there, we're going to learn a little bit about the game, we're going to learn a bit about ourselves, and we're going to figure out how to get around it, right? And then you're right. So if we go from technical to tactical a little bit, and as the season gets longer, we talk about how, if we're under a little pressure, where would 2 people be open? Just want you to think about that. Do the same drill, and we're going to put a little forechecker on you, a little pressure, but I want you to think about where 2 people would be open. And I asked the other girls, like, find open space. And it's never stagnant. It's never like a girl sitting in line waiting for a pass. It's like, all right, like, join the drill. When she picks the puck off the wall and turns left, like, I want you to find a space that no one else is in, and try to get a pass there. And you keep building on that, and you see those progressions. You hear a lot of coaches talk about it. It's true. But it's like, without the first part, in my opinion, without the first part of how you handle a puck, or how you pick it up off the wall, or how you bump a player and get your hip into them, a lot of the other stuff is really hard. And it has nothing to. Go ahead.
Keep going. I just love the technical to tactical. Like, that little piece right there, that sticks out in my mind like so much. Get the technical down, then move to tactical. There's so many young coaches, obviously not at the highest levels of hockey, that immediately go to tactical because they care about their win and loss at 8, 10, 12, 14 in the first month of the season. And it drives me nuts. It should tactical first, like, get them better at the foundational fundamental levels, progress from there, and then bring in the tactical and things like that. And you can obviously, mix and match those things. But again, like you said, and the reason you want to come on this podcast, everybody talks about development, but what does that freaking mean? What is anybody doing to actually develop, these players? And technical to tactical is so simple, I think, for a lot of coaches to wrap their head around, I hope, after just hearing just that piece alone.
And I have 4 girls on my team that play defense and forward. My daughter being one of them. So she's a center or she's a right D. And it's like, sometimes it's, where do you want to play this weekend? I want to play D. Where do you want to play this weekend? I want to play forward. But at the same time, it's like, you need to learn both, because life can change in an instant, in the sense that, like, and I go back, as when I went to college, I went from being a forward to a D, and I had to figure it out. Right. So it's like, let's be versatile. Let's put ourselves in a position to have success. I have 2 guys that played, one in the NHL this year, one had a fantastic year in the American League, but they played offside. They played the right side as lefties on the blue line. So this summer, going into that, we did a ton of work on what it's like to play on the offside, because where do you fit on the pie? Everyone has an organizational depth chart. So when you look at like I don't know, Boston Bruins, you see their left side, you see their right side. What side's weaker? What side's stronger? You've played your left side your entire life. That's what brought you to who you are today. And that's why you have a contract in your hand. Now, let's teach you to play the other side as well, because you might go like, oh, fuck, we're down a right D. But you're a lefty. I can play it. And now it's like when the game gets easier. So it's like, I think I'm not a positionless hockey guy. I think learning positions is super important. I think there's time when the D drops down, all that stuff. I don't get too much into that. I just tell the girls to play and cover for each other, right? And as they get older, when players get older, when I start working with prep school kids and college kids and pros, it's like, how versatile can we be? Because you might have to play left wing as a righty, right? And you might need to fill a hole. And if Leon Draisaitl's hurt, like, who's going to fill that role? Are they looking for another lefty? Maybe it's a righty because you can play both sides. So it's like, how do we become that player that they think about later on in life? And that versatility, being able to use your backhand better, being able to go into this corner a little bit better, it just gives you an advantage, right? So I think for the youth kids, same thing. My girls, like, I want to teach versatility. Can we do it all?
So let's dive deeper into that. And it's actually funny. We always used to kind of like prep our guys when I was coaching in college when they were going to their dev camps. And hey, if they ask you what position you play, what do you say? Wherever you need me, coach. Like, yeah. Wherever you need me, I can play. If I'm a forward, I can play anything. If I'm a D, I can play either side. Where do you need me? We would like to, that's what you got to say. That's what you got to say, you know? Yeah. But I also am a very big believer in developing versatile hockey players, because at the end of the day, as you move up the food chain and you get better and you get older and it starts to get more serious, you know, that's something that's really, really important as you look at, you know, wanting to get opportunity, wanting to get ice time. You're going to have to play a different role at different age levels and different ability levels. You know, you're going to have to play different positions, all that kind of stuff. So as somebody that works in development, you know, we got a lot of young coaches that listen to this. And how do you develop versatile players? You talked about having them play in different positions. You talked about things like that, but like what else can we do as youth coaches in particular to develop skills in these players that can help them to have success in whatever role they're asked to play in, you know, whatever part of the lineup they're going to be in, whatever position they're asked to do? How do we develop versatile players?
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
Yeah, I think that's a hard one, and it's a great one, right? And I think our games become a little bit more reactionary, you know. And I think if we can put our players in, and you had Barry Smith on, you sat down with him, right? And Barry has been instrumental in my life. Like, I was really the first guy I was ever around. And I did a lot of camps with them up in Buffalo, and he was just so good. And he switched me of the mentality of our entire career. We've worked on 1-on-0s, 1-on-1s, 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, advantageous to the puck carrier. But if you really watch the game, and I'll use Connor McDavid, for example, has learned to play around 4 other guys because since he was 8 years old, he's been the best player on the ice. So no matter what, people draw to him, right? So 2 guys to the puck carrier, 3 guys to the puck carrier. So can we teach our players to be able to make one little play or hold on to the puck 1 second longer to find help? So with the girls, especially 1-on-2s, 2-on-3s, 3-on-4s. Can we possess the puck enough? Can we, and I always say, like, people like, we can't dump and chase. Oh, I get that. I don't want to dump it from the red line, but if we chip it behind someone's heels to make the D turn, we have to go like put pressure on them. We have to learn to get pucks back too. It's not always having puck on our stick, but can we do something in a negative odd man situation to turn it into a positive? Right? So can we send a girl into a corner battle 1-on-2, and if she can hold the puck for 3 seconds, she gets the second girl. And now it's an even man situation. Can they make a little bump play off that, which adds the third girl? Now they're back into where they want to play. They're back into fun because they have one more than the defensive team. So I think when you learn the tactical piece or the technical piece, you get more comfortable holding on to the puck and you get more comfortable. I always tell guys, like, your eyes need to learn to wander somewhere else. We do it when we drive, don't we? You know you're on the road, you know you're in between the 2 lanes, but you can read the signs to your left, you can look at the signs to your right, in some way, somehow, your eyes still navigate the brake lights in front of you. So, like, that's our game a little bit. Like, can we navigate what's around us without being hyper focused on one thing? Right? And then I think having those situations really start the building blocks of other things, because everyone wants to play a puck possession game. It's we got to learn to chip pucks in spots where we can get them back, and it's all those little things. So I think flipping the situations has been super helpful for my kids, and I can't speak about the 300 other thousand of them, but you see it over time.
Well, the thing that I love about those inverted, types of situations where it's 1-on-2 versus 2-on-3 versus 3-on-4, and how those can be so much more beneficial for teaching hockey sense is that odd man rushes, when you get a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2, you don't have to work hard to support the puck. It's just easy, In those inverted situations where there's more defenders, you have to work a lot harder without the puck to get to spots of support, whether it's getting behind the D seals like you talked about with the little chip, or whether it's a crisscross and now you're kind of trying to get the D to be a little bit confused and they got to sort it out a little bit more. Like, you actually have to work to support the puck. And you talked about it, like your eyes wandering. Like, I want everybody to, like, because I know where you were going. Like, it's not just the player with the puck whose eyes got to wander and they got to be looking around. It's the people without the puck too, because they're the most important people on the ice to get to spots when a player gets worn off. And every level you go up, when you have the puck, you have less time and space. So you're so much more reliant on your teammates to get open for you, to get to spots of support. And then you give it, and then you go, like you talk about Marchand. He might be the best player in the world at giving the puck and getting open right away. He is so good. I just broke his game down and I'm like, oh my, he's never standing still. He's always working to get to spots of support. It's unbelievable. And so, like, that's where you talk about the inverted situations. Like, yeah, like we do. And again, going back to like where it was to where it is now, like, man, how many odd man rushes did we do in practices? And that's great because you need to do them, because you got to, those are where you score a lot of goals. But at the same time, like, let's add some of those other, 2-on-3s, 3-on-4s, make it harder for the offense, make them work a little bit more, make them have to think a little bit harder. You're creating much more versatile and smarter hockey players by doing that. And
do you ever think about, like, people, like, everyone wants to go fast, especially kids. They want to go as fast as they can. It's fast. So I try to explain them. I said, if you take a puck and you come out of the corner at full speed, the defender's going full speed with you. So at some given time, you're going to run out of room. You're going to run into the strong side winger. You're going to run into your defenseman that's at the point. You're going to run yourself out of the zone. You're going to run into the end wall, right? So when you learn to come out of a corner and you have a player that's just behind you off your hip, they're anticipating your next move, your speed. Their job is to close on you. So I always tell the players, like, don't run yourself out of room. If they're still behind you a little bit, you got time. And if your feet work the right way, if they get a little faster, you can get a little faster, right? It's the old NASCAR thing. Like, you want to keep that guy kind of in a spot where when it's time to open it up, you can, but like you're always playing between two guys. So you have a D or a center chasing you, and then you have the weak side winger up here. Like, there's only 15 feet. So I can't skate as fast as I can into Brad Marchand. It's just like, so slowing them down at times is helpful. And just having them understand, like, I'm not taking the speed out of your game, and I'm adding an element of like, can we see the play around us a little bit? Because sometimes you watch college hockey, and it kind of at times frustrates me to see, because in my opinion, everyone's an elite player at that level. They've worked to get themselves. I call them 1%ers. They're 1%ers. They're in Division I college hockey. Like, that's, so they skate so fast that they miss a play. And they still make a play out of it, but it's a secondary play. But we missed the first one.
So how do you teach that? Because there is an element to the game that needs to be fast, right? It's a game of transition. The puck's always going from defense to offense throughout the entire game. And the way that you create offense is to get them before they can get into their structure. So there is an element to fast. Obviously, speed kills. When you're a fast team, it's a lot harder to play than a slow team. How do you juxtapose? There you go. Thank you, Western Michigan.
Juxtaposition.
How do you kind of like, as a coach, as somebody that works in development, how do you teach when to be fast, when not to be fast? How do you teach how to slow it down when it needs to get slowed down versus like, hey, we want to accelerate, and catch them before they're ready. How do you go about coaching that?
Yeah, I think I try to coach in just within the scenarios and those little areas. I try not to, when I work with guys, I don't impose on coaches' systems. I don't touch it. I don't talk about it. If your team reloads fast, well, you have to be able to reload fast, right? So you have to be able to get in the neutral zone, transition up. But I do think there's a way that if you're in control of the puck the right way, you have the option to go fast or slow. And if you put the puck in the right position around you, you can make the decision on what you want to do. So it's a lot of that is, it goes all the way back to technical, and it's like, I know my feet work in a way that if Vex started sprinting at me, I could go from slow to fast based on his movement. Because my eyes are able to wander to him and get a feel. It's a field game too, right? So you watch, like, low to high has been a big thing. College hockey, pro hockey, everyone gets stuck in the corner. They wing it to the point. If you really go back and watch it, someone's open the slot most of the time. But because we practice it so much and practice with coaches, it's like, all right, we're going to play low to high, go D to D, whatever. But like, you missed the first opportunity. So can your eyes see that guy first, and then you can make the decision not to pass it to him and then dish it to the point. We know the point's open based on what we want to do. And it's not coaching. It's not telling a player to like go against the grain. It's just like, if he puts it to you in the slot, Toph, and you score, is Vex going to be mad as a coach?
That's going straight to the tactical as a player. Like, your mind is just like, I have to do this. And I feel like me, as a guy who was more of like a simple player, power forward, I always kind of felt that way. But after my bad concussion and I learned about the vestibular system and spatial awareness and things like that, Tope's asking, like, how do you work on these things? And you said right away, you go back to getting better at the technical, because then that allows you to play within the tactical smarter and better. And from an off-ice standpoint, talk about all the time, I train thousands of athletes, so many, even the highest level guys, when they're doing anything with movement or athletic or coordination is involved, their eyes go straight down. If your eyes go straight down off the ice, they're going down on the ice too. I've seen it for years, and so like off the ice too, like we can work on these things from an off ice standpoint. This is why I think that playing multiple sports is so beneficial. And all of my guys that played like through high school, like soccer, they have better spatial awareness on the ice than the guys who only played hockey, especially like the guys who are going Division I now. And I've seen it, and they understand manipulating space and time more. They play with their eyes up more. And so it's something that you can work on off the ice, but like, you go back to the technical instead of just like, okay, we're like sprinting forward off the ice. Yeah. Okay. But like, why don't we look around when we're freaking sprinting? Because we aren't sprinters. We're sprinting to get better at hockey. And yes, there's times where you want to go and work on your absolute top speed. But if you can only look forward when you're on the ice sprinting, at a certain point, that's not helping you get better at the whole game of hockey, and you're no better of a hockey player. So it's like, that's why I can't explain enough how much I love technical and then into the tactical.
When kids walk around the gym with their cell phone in their hand, do they drop it?
Yeah, no.
No, it's in their hand, right? So they feel it in their hand, and if it goes to drop, they can catch it and do whatever. But it's like they can walk around with that in their hand all day, and they can look around and talk to everyone else, and they can fire off a text without even looking. Well, why can't we do that with a hockey puck?
Right.
And it's just like it's helping them understand that it's just like it is. Lacrosse is the same way. Once that ball's in your pocket, your eyes are everywhere else, and they get that feel and that rhythm with I never play, but I see it. They have that feel and that rhythm. It's there, and then when the ball starts to slip out, they readjust. There's a feeling in there, so it's like we have to learn that same feeling. It's just with a hockey stick and a puck, and so we have the ability to play around other people. And it's just kind of it's really hard for young kids to understand it. That's why at a really young level, I love the blue rings. You flip the sticks over and you do ring battles, because when you shorten the space, you can't skate away from anybody, but you learn to turn, you learn to feel the puck on the bottom of the knob, and do all this stuff. But like if you leave the space open, the kid's going to skate from one end of the ice to the other. It's automatic mentality for youth. And I don't have the science behind it, but it's flight versus fight, in my opinion. So if you put a ball and you said, all right, you have to get Vex, you have to get the ball out of his hand, the first thing Vex is going to do, he's going to skate from goal line to goal line because he knows he's faster than you. Well, at some point, he's out of room, right? So our zone's the same way. At some point, you are going to run out of room. So we have to learn to play within that constraint. Neutral zone's the same. What do they say? So if games are won and lost in the neutral zone, well, you go in someone's lane, you slow them down. So we got to learn to play in that space, So it's like we can't always go fast. Now we can get an inch ahead of a guy. We got to learn to make a play off it, And I think there's ways to teach it. I think because youth coaches are dad's parents, same thing. They're parents. They're coming from their job. They're doing whatever. Like we all get to the rink 30 minutes early. Watch the practice before you for 10 minutes. It could be some guy with zero hockey background that has an idea. It's like, man, I could actually, if I add this into that drill right there, that might help my kids. Or like you see the framework or something that you can change. It's like, there's no excuse of not having enough time to put something together, but there's just like, how do you want to go and approach your kids' practice? And it doesn't change, my development changes per guy as they get older, but it gets more technical. They have tactical, and Topher, it's good. They have tactical for 8 months, right? So when they go home, they have their end of the year meeting. It's like, I need you to be faster and stronger. I go see Vex, sign up for his heroic training plug. And then, but you need to figure out, how do we get you to make more plays? And then you can add it up. Topher, you're going to go in the left corner 1,000 times a year, right? So you're going to go in. I want you to do it 3 more times a game, over 30 games. How many more plays is that? Can you get 5 points out of that?
Well, I just think about how I saw the game and how I felt the game, and how as I got older, I tried to watch how guys who played the game like Toph and Stas and could easily play inside a phone booth with 2 other guys in there. And me, it was like, this is really hard for me. And I think about why that was hard for me and how I was able to get better at it, but not till the last 5 years of my career. I'm not good at it, but I got better at it, and it was from putting myself in those situations and forcing myself in practice to not do the flight and actually stay in the fight in a 1-on-2 and try to hold on to it for an extra second, get that inch where I can rotate and then find my teammates with my eyes actually up. Because the first 20 years of my hockey career, I played with my eyes down, and I am resonating so much with what you're saying. And the 1-on-2s more instead of the 2-on-1s, and what that'll do for players learning to find that extra space and hold on to it for that extra second, and your other teammate having to go find the open space that the person with the puck under pressure can find you in that open space. Like, just so many variables at play there that are going to make players so much better. I needed you, Lounsy. Where were you 20 years ago, bro? Damn it.
One of you talk about that, Vex. One of my favorite drills to do, and I think this is really relevant in youth hockey, is you start a drill as a 2-on-3, maybe inside the zone, maybe it's small area or something like that, and then the coach will throw a third guy in there. And then now all of a sudden you get that extra spot. So you got to protect, you got to work, you got to all that kind of stuff. And then it becomes another drill where you add a third guy in there. The coach, it's not the same time every time. Like, hey, we're going to give it 2 seconds, or we're going to give it 7 seconds, or whatever. And then there's a communication piece to it. Now we got to pick up defensively, all this kind of stuff. But one thing, so that just spurred my mind real quickly there. One thing, Lounsy, so we had a guy named Mike McGinnis on the podcast, who I really respect in the development world as well. And he's out in Edmonton. One of the things that he said, and I think this is really relevant as we talk about this kind of like technical versus tactical transferable conversation, said the best thing that you can do as a kid is for 10 to 15 minutes every night, just stick handle a ball with your eyes up. Because when you think about it, there's a progression to this thing. You have to be confident in your skill to like continue to progress up to different levels of your development, where now our eyes are up and we are confident in our stick handling and our passing, where now we can think a little bit more on the fly with our head up and things like that. You can master the technical at home. Like, I stick handled in my basement for hours upon hours every week. Like, so you don't need a coach for the technical stuff. Like, take a golf ball, take a tennis ball, shoot in your basement. Like, there are so many things that you can do on that side of things. So then when you get to Lounsy, who's a really smart hockey coach, now it's like, holy shit, this kid's really confident in his abilities. Now we can start to add some layers to this development piece. We can add a little bit of the tactical. We can add a little bit more of the pressure. We can add a little bit more of the things that will actually transfer from what you're doing in practice to the games. The more you've mastered the technical side, the faster you'll be able to add that stuff as a coach with the kids. So for the kids that are listening to this, like, if you want to develop and progress and get to a little bit more of the nitty gritty of the hockey sense and the different situations, like, you can master that technical at home.
You know what's actually amazing too, that I ran a skate for a friend of mine, I don't know, 18 kids on the ice, and I haven't done it in a long time. My groups are usually really small. And we talked about something, and this is the way I think about it, there was a couple kids in the line like fooling around with the pucks, and the guy like snapped. He's like, "Hey, pay attention." I was like, "Why can't they do both?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "But why are we in line? Like, why are we not allowing our kids to handle a puck in line to go to the next drill? If they're not turning their back to you and firing the pucks off the wall." So if your youth hockey player's in line and he or she has a puck on her stick and she's like fooling around with it and like looking at you, or at least like, okay, you only have a sheet. So why are we yelling at our kids to stand still in line to make sure they do your drill right? And if they do the drill wrong, you just grab them from the side and you just go, "Hey, like, I understand you with the puck in your stick, but just like watch the person in front of you. Maybe you don't understand like how I'm portraying the drill to be. I don't like writing on the board, so I might go run through it. Watch a few people go. I don't care if you stick handle the puck, but just watch a few people go." So I encourage kids all the time, like, "Man, if you're in line, work on it." Why? They're all standing there. Yeah, they're all just standing around.
I love that. I mean, yeah, I could see where that could get crazy, but that's what a whistle's for. Blow the whistle. Okay, if I blow the whistle, you stop stick handling because we got to listen. And then I blow the whistle again, stick handle in line.
If it's that important, take a knee. Bring it in, take a knee. If it's that important.
Right. But like, that's like now you're like, well, why do we think that way? Oh, because school taught us to be that way and taught us to be like a robot in a line and follow the orders. But it just makes so much more sense. Like, everybody complains about not enough ice, but every kid is like, don't talk in line, stand like a robot. You're in the North Korean military, like chill. Like, why aren't they, backhand, forehand, popping over another puck, like toe drag, eyes up, looking around, watching the play? It just makes so much more sense. Simple thing I do in the gym with my guys. I'm like, okay, if it's a strength day, which means we have more rest, I'm like, let's do something. Let's do something while you're a little bit tired, hand-eye. Let's make your brain have to work while you're a little bit tired. Because what happens on the ice when you get tired and you get pinned in your zone for 45 seconds? You lose your thought process. You float all over the ice. You're not in the right spot to defend because you can't think when you're tired. So like, okay, why don't we do something, a little bit extra? It doesn't take a lot. I love that. I hope coaches are listening to that one too. Let's go, Lounsy.
And like we all learn different ways. And Toe said like, I played every season. I didn't play outside the season. And it wasn't, I just like playing other sports. My dad never be like, you're going to hockey camp. I just never asked me. I never went. I never, whatever. So I learned to do all this stuff because I couldn't shoot. Like, so if I haven't seen my tape of my game ever, like I've never seen myself play, but like statistically, I was always double or triple the assists I had goals. When I was a goal scorer, when I was younger playing forward, all of my goals were within 7 feet of the net or a breakaway or forehand, backhand, whatever it is. But like, I don't think I've ever beat a goalie from outside the tops of the circle. So my weakness in my game, because guys ask like, when you played, what was it like? I'm like, I couldn't shoot. I couldn't break that glass if you put it down. Like, so I didn't. I would facilitate. I would dish. I would break the team out. I would always look for the extra. So like, that's how I learned to play like I can teach. So I can shoot a puck now, and I've learned and I've taught myself and I've like really dove into it. But so it's like, do you take the time to learn how to do certain things? And I was always the kid with the puck in line. It's just like,
that's interesting. We got 2 guys on the podcast with muffins, one guy with no hockey IQ, and we're all working with high-level hockey players. It's possible, all right?
It is possible. There's hope for all of you.
That's why you got to learn. Well, Lounsy, we've had you on here for almost an hour, man. This is a great conversation. We really appreciate your time. And if you're not following Lounsy on social media, make sure you're, what would you say, soliloquies or something like that earlier, Vex? Every now and again, every once a week? Or
I have never said the word soliloquy.
You put it beautifully.
I went to Western, not Cornell. National
But Lounsy, we are going to keep you for our 10 questions that'll be housed in our hockey think tank community. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We love doing that with everybody. So if you're not in the community yet, go to community.thehockeythinktank.com. Be able to hear some more stuff from our podcast guests. But Jon Lounsbury, 11 Hockey, thanks for your time today, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate you.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.